Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. We are today in for a very insightful and an interesting leadership conversation, and that too in one of the most favorite areas, that is the fintech. Let me introduce you to Mr. Anand Bajaj, who is the CEO of Nearby Technologies, very commonly and popularly known as Pay Nearby. Anand, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thank you so much, Babu, for hosting me. And it is a great team effort all across. I've been lucky to be the thought leader and supported by a fantastic execution team all throughout. So thank you for calling out about the good work in the past and the current times.
Let me just take it to the next level of conversation. We are also going to introduce a tech leader today in this conversation of fast tracking fintech series. And along with me is going to be Mr. Sunil Gupta, who is a czar in the area of data center. I have seen him from his GTL days to that of NetMagic days, and he has also spent a lot of time in Reliance Communications for the data center business, been the executive director and president and CEO of NetMagic, and now he is the co-founder and managing partner of one of the most innovative and out-of-the-box thinking data center. I saw some fantastic solution that Yotta also promoted a week ago for and where I was amazed at the way how they can increase the processing period or the rendering of the videos and all on the cloud. A fantastic technology. So join me in welcoming Mr. Sunil Gupta. Sunil, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live, the fast tracking fintech series. We have Anand also with us, who is the CEO of Nearby Technologies, known as Pay Nearby.
Hi, Babu. Thank you for hosting me here. Hi, Anand.
Hello, welcome, Sunil. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. So, Sunil, we have been having some wonderful and interesting conversations here on how has been the journey of Pay Nearby and things like that. And from there, one of the most important thread that I have picked up in this conversation is basically technology has been the backbone of this particular growth of fintech, and nevertheless, it is not a surprise to any of us. So, you have been providing a lot of premium services like technology solutions, data center solutions, and things like that to various companies. Now, how is that differentiating factor that you think you are trying to bring in into the market today, where the companies or the fintechs can look at more agility, more transformation, quicker pace, learn fast, fail fast, again redo it fast, and be successful faster?
Yeah, thanks, Babu. I think you have asked many questions in a single question. Thanks for that. So, you're right. I have been observing this entire market of IT infrastructure for last so many years, 21 years I have spent only in data center. And before that also, it was more of a telecom industry I was a part of. And while I saw this evolution of customer gradually getting used to, or rather asking for OPEX based solutions, pay per use solutions, right? The best of the solutions from the service providers. One thing I observed was the space at which the market has grown overall, whether it is banking industry or the industry overall across all the verticals in the last 5 years. And besides a great customer experience, great infrastructure, one thing we could observe which India is lacking big time was scalability of infrastructure. We were playing in a very small infrastructure, right? And customers now, like we can see, like people like Anand and all, they start today and maybe in 2 years time, we will see suddenly they becoming unicorns and they actually expanding to a much greater level, which nobody can imagine. So how India can have a much larger footprint of infrastructure, which customers like Anand can use for running their applications, scaling them up in a shortest period of time so that they can run their business and serve the end customer. That is what the vision of Yotta was, right? And the whole idea was, can I propel Digital India program, providing whether it is enterprises, whether it is banking customers, whether it is governments, whether it is cloud service providers, can I give them high quality, hyperscale data center parks where the entire ecosystem, whether it is a great building with best of the, I would say, fault tolerance with 100% uptime, whether it is a great power ecosystem, because data centers are power guzzlers. All those things I can provide. I can provide a high quality data center, because they will be running their mission critical applications. And while you do this, you are still able to bring the costs down, right? Because that is something which will be always a major factor, the infrastructure in any business like what Anand is doing, right? So it is like a dichotomy. You're trying to talk about premium services, most scalable services, huge investments, but you're still talking about bringing the cost down compared to where the industry is. By launching our first data center, which is now the world's second largest uptime tier 4 data center, right, with practically unlimited scalability and still promising to customers less than, or rather, almost more than 25% savings to what they are paying. I think that is what we have done, right? And this is what we are doing is simply because we thought that we can combine all the capabilities under a single roof. So on one side, we have brought in the, I would say, Yotta expertise, the domain expertise of data centers, which, the entire team at Yotta represents. We all are like from this industry, and, everybody like, we all have, gathered, whether it is the IT side expertise, application side expertise, or the core data center making expertise, right? And when you bring that expertise in combination with Hiranandani expertise, which is my parent group company, they are the ones who understand land, they understand government approvals, they understand, the construction, they understand, the whole ecosystem of which is not very easy for anybody to fathom. And that is where what we are doing, we are partnering with best of the technology companies in the world, using their solutions, investing into them upfront, doing all the R&D ourselves, packaging them, converting them into a self-service pay-per-use model, and making it available to our customers like Anand.
Anand, you have been a runaway success in quite last few years of your existence in this industry. And creating more and more unicorns in India is always been a dream for most of us. And in this journey of your accomplishment of a unicorn status or more, okay, what are the kind of challenges you have faced, and what are the kind of opportunities you see or the tech support you see you would require to take this to the next level?
So, Babu, to tell you, Rome was not built in a day. We are not a runaway success. It's not an overnight work. Getting to serve 150 million lives through 500,000 retail touch points, it takes a lot. Having said that, with regard to the challenges, if you are asking, we see them all as opportunities. Like I was just telling you a while ago, that everything that you see in the ecosystem changing, there is, with every regulation, there is an opportunity. With every fiasco, there is an opportunity to serve. For example, if you see 115 million debit cards which went out of system because of chip and pin compliance guidelines, we had an opportunity to go and serve them with Aadhaar enabled payment service, both rails from NPCI, either a debit card rail or on NFS switch, or AEPS support on the micro ATM front. The opportunity to assist in rural area where there is scarcity and challenge, one may say, of commerce by taking Amazon partnership into the last mile. The opportunity to act as a payment facilitator at the same banking correspondent outlet and help a retailer who's challenged with digital payments to experience what UPI QR, Bharat QR is. These were challenges on one hand. The opportunity to digitize India, which everyone with right intent, pious heart is attempting at this point in time, so that there is less cash or no cash economy. So these efforts were invested to collaborate. It went into collaboration at emotional level with partners. And once you are able to connect these partnerships and join the purposes at emotional level, it serves everyone's purpose.
So let's talk a little bit about the strategies that has helped you to take your business to the next level of unicorn status.
So with $7 billion of throughput every year that we process, Babu, there are similar other payment platforms which also process $7 billion, and they are valued at $2 billion. And wonderful work all of us are doing, some on the high end, some on the lower end of the strata. With regard to the strategy, we would say we remained customer focused, and we coined rules within Pay Nearby. The rules were automate or eliminate. One, automate or eliminate. If you apply this rule, you will be able to scale massively. Second is stability before scale. If you are able to test, because the segment that you serve does not tweak. Yeah, the $700 that you spend for cab fare is the month's grocery cost for those people. So automate or eliminate, stability before scale were two imperatives. That said, we coined another strategy called pizza bread strategy. The pizza bread strategy never appeared in Harvard till Professor Lauren Cohen decided to do a case study on us last winter. And on Pay Nearby in Harvard, now there is a case study which covers the pizza bread strategy, where you go and relay a part of the technology, massively reaching deep rurals everywhere and perfected with the partner banks. Once that is done, you lay cheese on top of it and the toppings that you would desire to have. Insurance you would lay, investments you would lay on that, lending that you would put up there. Your user needs were mapped into the payment threads. So you look at banking as a cash in, cash out. You look at the payment systems as SoftPOS, micro ATM, UPI QR, link-based payment, or Aadhaar Pay. All these 5 payment modules with cash in, cash out, you are able to play into the needs of the people. That is what the innovation and the strategic conversations has been all about. With compliance focused, we always have been late to market, but rock solid product for the segment again, which does not tweak. The changes happen. We do ensure that we take the best of the product to the market. 3 months late is absolutely okay. You asked about the challenges. Like I said earlier, that these are opportunities. With every new innovation that comes in, each of them gives you an opportunity to serve. Every new API that changes, every new regulation that changes, every new timeline that is come and breached. For example, the 115 million debit cards, which were put out of system suddenly last year, November. We were able to serve those guys. There was the opportunity to give them Aadhaar-enabled payment service, both the tracks with NPCI only, the NFS switch or the Aadhaar-enabled payment service. The rural areas were benefited by the opportunity to serve with Amazon as our partner to take football at a fertilizer shop, take a frock for the daughter, a girl child at a stationery shop. The Amazon-powered commerce is happening on the rural area.
Excellent. So that gets me to the next question to Sunil. Sunil, you have been into the data center business and you have seen what are the challenges and what are the opportunities that the fintechs see. Now, a lot of time of most of the technology users is become to do the R&D to implement a solution, the capex investments, and these are all deterring the people from getting into innovation and latest solutions. How are you trying to facilitate it in your existing role?
Thanks, Babu, for asking this question. And I would say that is the real challenge. The challenge today for enterprises, startups, and all companies is actually not technology. Technology is available. You have got best of the technology companies and providers in the world available. The idea is, can I afford that technology? Can I consume the technology in the most easy way, which does not weigh heavy on my pocket, right? So what we say is, that is why Yotta does not say I'm just a technology provider. I'm just trying to provide a real world solution to customers. What happens is that in a typical cycle, especially for a growing organization, when you start up, if you end up investing a whole lot of your efforts, time, and money into huge capex investments, because you want to grow big, you have large ambitions, so you like to size up your capex infrastructure in a big way. You would like to have fixed liabilities also over a longer period of time in terms of licensing and all other things which required in technology infrastructure. And then if the things go great, fantastic. If the things don't go great, because in startup you can have lots of ups and downs. Suddenly you are inundated with so much of liabilities which will just pull you down, even though your idea of your company was great, right? And it is not only the money, the time taken of that entire exercise. You cannot, like you say, you grow fast and you also fail fast. That is something which typically said in the startup industry. You cannot do that with these type of commitments you end up making upfront. So how do you actually make a balance between that? You keep very light on your pocket, but also if your business grows, you're able to scale up very, very fast without having to then think of how do I invest so much into infrastructure. That is what we are doing. That we as Yotta, are investing into technologies, not only the data center infrastructure, but all the technologies. We partner with all these renowned technology operators, the engineering operators. We are bringing their technologies, putting them into our data center infrastructure, put a whole envelope of everything which goes along with that, like internet and skill sets and tools and everything, orchestration layers and all, and make it available to the users on a pay-per-use model. And that is what typically in our nowadays what we call is a pay gig on a cloud model. That is what we are trying to do for every niche thing. Plain compute is available in cloud for a long time, but can I make available very niche vertical specific products to in the hands of consumers which they want it? And the example which like we launched last week, Virtual Pro, the workstation was exactly that. There's a whole lot of community, whether it is gamers, whether it is the people who want to do rendering, or whether it is people in banking and finance industry who want to run big AI ML workloads in with big data sets. Can I give them GPU technology in their normal desktops and iPads? They can use GPU simply on a simple any end device, and that is what we ended up doing in partnering with NVIDIA and Citrix. And all these technologies to the user is still coming at something like 7,000-8,000 rupees per month. So suddenly you make the latest technology available in the hands of users. If they are able to use it, consume it, their business is fine, they keep on paying it. If they don't consume it, and if they're not able to, let's say, let the business unfortunately does not go well, they can just bring it down. I mean, they don't need to keep on paying.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So that's experience. So talking about experience, Anand, one more thing that I wanted to check with you is, the experience of the rural customer has to be seamless. And whatever, complexities that happen within below the belt, you don't understand what is happening. The customer needs to have a seamless experience in payments. And like you said, payment is going to be a commodity tomorrow. It is going to be as accepted by the people as it is working for them. You don't need to think deep about it. So how are you working towards making this payment more seamless and more experiential to the people?
So, Babu, it's about looking at that consumers have been till now interacting digitally with the banks. We have added another dimension to it and made it digitally, or what people call it phygital. Imagine 7.5 lakh villages in India with 1,05,300 odd change branches, of which 32,000 branches are dedicated for semi-urban and rural area. The math does not add up. So essentially, if you have to also look at the 2 lakh odd ATMs, half of which or 150,000 of which are either co-hosted or located in urban centers, it leaves only 50,000, 60,000 ATMs for the mass rural. There was a need to do what we have done very clearly, to take the technologies, banking technology rails to the last mile through the trusted retail touch points. You will relate that government gave subsidy in the bank account. Our trusted retail partners gave it in the hands of the citizens. Yeah, people were able to come to a kirana shop and tell 2 kilo aloo, 1 kilo pyaj, 250 rupees cash dena bhaiya. For the English audience, a pack of chips, a bottle of Coke, and 250 bucks, bro, please. Yeah, that's the interaction at the retail outlet that you have been able to deliver.
Interesting. So one of the most important thing I can derive from both of your conversations is that simplify to simplify. Both of you have worked on a common element to simplify either payments or simplify the infrastructure.
That's true.
To empower your own customers to simply fly in their businesses.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Good one. Good one.
I would like to put one question to Sunil as to what are the technology trends or what are the kind of strategies that the fintechs tomorrow have to look at if they want to really leapfrog the status of growth and take their businesses to 2030. What things you should
3 or 4 things, Babu, and I'll be very quick. I know the time is running short. I'll be very quick on that. Number one is, as I said earlier, your name itself suggests fintech, financial services delivery using technology, right? And there'll be multiplicity of technologies, right? Please look for things which are on a pay-per-use model. so that you can consume them. What works, you scale it up. What does not work, you are able to leave it without having some liabilities on that. That is most important. Second is user experience. Anand has been stressing on that continuously. User experience, for him, it is the end consumer. For me, Anand himself is my user. So how I can deliver the technologies to Anand and customers in the fintech industry on a very good user self-service model, orchestrated model. That is a second part, which is very, very important for the customers who look for technology services. Third is scalability. As I said, a startup of today is a unicorn of tomorrow. How the service provider, technology provider is able to give unlimited scalability, scale up and scale down, horizontal and vertical, will be very, very important point to see. Whenever we are trying to see how do I consume technology at the back end. Next is, I think, cognitive intelligence. I think AI, ML. I'm sure the fintech players are increasingly using AI and ML tools. The use cases are increasing continuously. And again, for providers, technology providers like us, how do I support those use cases using the technology infrastructure? Like I was talking about the same Virtual Pro workstation, where whether on one end you are doing a heavy workloads like gamings and rendering, on other side you want to handle big datas, which AI and ML workloads require, or IoT type of workloads require. That is something you will have to continuously go for, and again look for technologies which can be available to you on a pay-per-use model instead of you having to invest into like crores into that. So these are, I would say fintech is something which is continuously, I would say, pressurizing the traditional banks to adopt technology on a mass scale. They are the challengers. Technology is becoming a norm. And pandemic is just pushing the adoption of technology in fintech like anything else. So these are the overall trends I can see, which will have a huge uptick in the future.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Anand, any quick closing remark from you?
Yeah, I agree with Sunil that micro pricing, which led the success even of Apple when they launched music, helped the consumer was able to pay for each single song that he wanted to. That said, fintech has found its true north. We have found our true north already, and from here on, it's only upward and forward ahead. You will also relate that fintech is a force multiplier to the commerce. The speed that it is able to bring to commerce, there is no more gap now. There is no more check clearance time that is required. Reserve Bank has done fabulous on the 24/7 RTGS enablement. NPCI is doing day after day enhancement, augmentation on the payment systems. So, like I said earlier, what the things are available, and one will have to get onto it. And yahi mati ubhregi, yahi zarra chamkega. I can't stop saying this thing again and again. This shall rise, and this is what the transformation will be emanating from. Fintech will become the sixth element. Like I repeated, earth, fire, water, wind, space, and fintech. It's impacting lives positively, and awesome times ahead, Babu.
Fantastic. I think, gentlemen, I had a fantastic time and fantastic insights from both of you, from both technology and the fintech perspective. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for a wonderful conversation with us. And we look forward to more and more such enlightening conversations with all of you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Babu. Thank you, Anandji.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.